So let's get into our first segment of the day called Trending.
Trump was too liberal. Tweet.
Tap on the shoulder. You adjust the microphone as you talk, man. For their gracious aid.
So this is a segment where we will be looking at what was trending on Twitter. And Sam Harris was trending on August 18th at number 2 in the top trend list. So let's give that a look. As you can see, he was trending next to hashtag She-Hulk and beating out hashtag Thursday vibes. So the reason I say it like that is because normies don't know who the fuck Sam Harris is. The only reason I know about Sam Harris is because of Joe Rogan's podcast. So for Sam Harris to be competing and beating corporate advertising and popular hashtags is pretty fucking impressive. So the reason Sam was trending was because of his remarks he made on Trump and Hunter Biden's laptop on a podcast called Triggernometry. They were very outrageous to say the least. So when asked his opinion on Trump's Twitter ban, he starts to ramble on comparing his podcast to Twitter, making head-scratching comparisons between Trump and Alex Jones, and making false allegations about how Trump would attack private citizens and unleash the hordes of MAGA upon them. So let's give that clip a watch, huh?
Look at Twitter. I see a company that has terms of service, which people like Alex Jones and Trump clearly violated. I mean, whether they in fact violated this terms of service as written, I think they violated any coherent terms of service that Twitter should have had, right? Like you shouldn't knowingly be able to turn your mob on a private citizen and ruin their lives through doxing, right? Which is what Jones and Trump were doing. It just again and again and again to people. Every time, I mean, Jones was doing it with the Sandy Hook parents, right? You literally have.
But Sam, you're conflating two very different people. I mean, Alex Jones does not belong in this conversation. I'm not interested in Alex Jones
but I would dispute that. I think Trump is essentially, we got Alex Jones as president of the United States.
No.
I don't think they're very different people. I think that it's the same phenomenon in my world. Because just the level of misinformation, disinformation, lying, the charlatanism, the conscious fraudulence of everything at scale, and the targeting of individuals with known consequences, right? Like Trump, every time Trump singles out a specific citizen and says, "Look at this jackass who's trying to whatever the claim would be," that is a human sacrifice. We know that person's life is just never the same again.
Yeah, whatever, Sam. Whatever, dude. So, for one, Jones didn't use Twitter to dox the parents of Sandy Hook. No, he made a documentary about crisis actors, and that incident at Sandy Hook was the main subject of that documentary. That happened in 2012. Jones got banned from Twitter in 2018 because he was talking about civil war, and Twitter said he was inciting violence. Also, Trump never attacked private citizens on Twitter. No, and as misleading as this headline sounds from Politico writes, the 23 people, places, and things Donald Trump attacked on Twitter as president. So let's scroll down here, because I'm not going to read this whole article, but we're just going to hit some points here. So the very first one, political establishment in Washington, D.C. All right. 2, women's marches. 3, Chicago. 4, Chelsea Manning. 5, Mexico. 6, New York Times. 7, The Washington Post. 8, the media. American borders and vetting immigrants and refugees. John McCain. Lindsey Graham. Delta Computers. Immigration and refugees from other countries included in the ban. Chuck Schumer. The Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi. Iran. President Obama. UC Berkeley. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Protesters. The judge who blocked his travel ban. So, everything mentioned there was either a public figure, a public event, a state, or an organization, or a nation. No, those don't count as private citizens. You're full of shit, Sam Harris. So, but what freaked people out on Twitter was not that, but it was this. So let's give this a watch, huh?
Say just finally, I do again. it's like a coin toss for me, the Hunter Biden laptop thing, because I do understand how corrosive it is for an institution like the New York Times to show obvious bias and inconsistency and dishonesty in how it's like they couldn't even frame it honestly. It's not like it's like the way I would frame it is, listen, I don't care what's in Hunter Biden's. I mean, Hunter Biden at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared.
What?
Right? It's like there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden. But even if whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is, like if we could just go down that rabbit hole endlessly and understand that he's getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine or wherever else, right? Or China. It is infinitesimal compared to the corruption we know Trump is involved in. It's like a firefly to the sun, right? I mean, like there's just it doesn't even stack up against Trump University. Right? Trump University as
Trump
a story
University
is worse.
That's the one you're bringing up to compare to Hunter Biden's laptop?
Hunter Biden's laptop. You know?
What?
Now that doesn't answer the people who say it's still completely unfair to not have looked at the laptop in a timely way and to have shut down the New York Post's Twitter account. Like that's just a conspiracy. That's a left-wing conspiracy to deny the presidency to Donald Trump. Absolutely, it was. Absolutely, right. But I think it was warranted. Right, and again, it's a coin toss as to whether or not
Sam, I'm sorry.
That particular piece.
I'm really sorry. I was the one that said we should move on, but you've just said something I really struggle with there, which is
the kids in the basement.
Fuck the kids in the basement.
You, dude.
I'm interested in democracy. You're saying you are content with a left-wing conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically re-elected as president.
Well, no, I'm content. Well, but the thing is, it's just not left wing, right? So Liz Cheney is not left wing, right? Liz Cheney is doing everything in her power
to prevent somebody being democratically elected.
But there's not a conspiracy. It's not. It was a conspiracy out in the open. But it doesn't matter if it was. It doesn't matter what part's conspiracy, what part's out in the open. I mean, I think it's like if people get together and talk about what should we do about this phenomenon. You know, if it's like if there was an asteroid hurtling toward Earth. And we got in a room together with all of our friends and had a conversation about what we could do to deflect its course, right? Is that a conspiracy? You know, like some of that conversation would be in public, some of it would be in private. We have a massive problem. We have an existential threat, right? Politically speaking, I consider Trump an existential threat to our democracy.
Of course you do.
Right now, he's not going to destroy the world.
He's the boogeyman.
He's destroyed democracy.
He's everybody's boogeyman, or at least on the left, right?
But that doesn't destroy.
Doesn't make no fucking sense, man.
What I'm not suggesting. At no point was I suggesting we should stuff ballots or actually break the machinery of democracy. But political opinion is already being just completely inundated with misinformation, biased takes, half-truths, and outright lies, right? Like, or just the amplification of bad or misleading information based on the algorithm, right? So it's already just an abattoir of opinion, right? And now the question is, what can you do with your own biases and your own to get the outcome you think is actually better, not just for yourself personally, but for the world, right? So
okay. What would you do to get the outcome that just doesn't benefit you, but the world? What kind of fucking logic is that? Rig an election by suppressing information will turn the election in favor of your political opponent? Undermine democracy to save democracy? Jesus. No, Sam Harris is supposed to be this groundbreaking atheist intellectual, but from what I saw in this interview, he's a cultist with Trump derangement syndrome. He compared Trump University to Hunter's laptop. You know what? Compares the wrong word. He said Trump University was worse than Hunter's laptop. His hate for Trump is so strong that he's willing to look past human trafficking, backdoor deals with foreign regimes, incest, and pedophilia. Come on, man, that's chump change. Everyone has skeletons in their closet. None of that compares to Trump University. The fuck out of here. Jesus, dude. And for those who don't know, Trump University was Trump's real estate school. It was not a licensed university. Students chose to enroll there. Once they realized it was a bad idea and they spent money on schooling for something you didn't need a degree in, they sued Trump University and every student got 90% of their money back. How the fuck do you say that's worse than Hunter's laptop? You know, and I'm not the only one here that thinks his remarks are fucking outrageous. So, Paul A. says, New York Times bestselling author Sam Harris just said he supported censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story because doing so helped Joe Biden. Harris thinks cheating is fine if Democrats do it. How do you reason with people like this? Very true. There is no reasoning. Ben said, the Sam Harris clip today was such a flashpoint. Brutally honest and untethered to any type of political normalcy, beyond the pale and completely disqualifying. It was such an honest inside look at the pervading intellectual class that their inability to see themselves as the enemy. Yeah. Geoff Schollenberger said, Sam Harris's case is revealing. He and the new atheist spent a decade arguing once you cured people of the mind virus of religion, they would become rational science believers. Then the Great Awakening swept across secular liberalism, providing definitively they were idiots. So, Harmit put it the best. Sam Harris who? So let's end this segment out, huh? Sam Harris, seeing the fallout of his uncomfortable truth, put out a response tweet to the backlash. And let's give this a read. The podcast clip circulating that seems to be confusing many people about my views on Trump, which is understandably because I wasn't speaking very clearly. So for what it's worth, here's what I was trying to say. I was essentially arguing for principle of self-defense, where there is a continuum of proportionate force that is appropriate and necessary to use. I've always viewed Trump as a very dangerous person to elect as president of a fake university. Okay? Let alone the U.S., and when he became a sitting president who would not commit to a peaceful transfer of power, I viewed him as more dangerous still. However, I've never been under an illusion that he is Orange Hitler. On the podcast, I was speaking narrowly about the wisdom and property of ignoring the Hunter Biden laptop story until after the election. I've always thought that this was a very hard call, ethically and journalistically. But given what happened with the Anthony Weiner laptop in the previous election, I think it was probably the right call. Nothing I said on the podcast was meant to suggest that the Democrats would have been right to commit election fraud or take other illegal measures to deny Trump the presidency, nor do I think they did that. Oh. Yes, Sam, everyone understood what you said. In 6 tweets, he basically just restated what he said in the podcast that took him 15 minutes to say. Trump is bad. Keep him out of office by any means necessary, even if that means taking illegal measures. There you go. I said what Sam said in a sentence, and that ends the segment.
Trump was too liberal. Tweet.
Tap on the shoulder. You adjust the microphone as you talk, man. With a gracious aid.